We're going to go ahead and start the regular scheduled city council meeting of Tuesday, September 17th. If we could please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mayor Racy,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Porter,
Here.
Councilman Miller,
Present.
Councilman Webster,
Here.
Councilman Dowd,
Present.
Councilwoman Skiff,
Here.
Councilman Wagner.
Here.
A quorum is present.
And this is the October 1st meeting. I said this wrong thing because you put my, just because everybody noticed. Go ahead.
Through the chair, can I move to amend a couple things on the agenda?
Let her do the,
Okay.
we'll do the
Moment
moment
of
of silence
silence.
first.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is for a moment of silence for Stefan Vince Berna.
You take a minute. Thank you.
Through the chair. The administration of office, we're waiting on some family members. So what we'd like to do is move item F under general items, which is the closed session, up, and then when we come back, we will do the administration of office.
Do we have a support for that?
Support.
Moving it where?
Dowd.
Up to under approve agenda.
Yeah, we got a
Here.
second. You got it? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So do we need to then take a
Mr. Mayor, through the chair,
roll call?
if we could just also change the language on the closed session item to reflect that we'll be going in a closed session to discuss attorney-client privilege communications pursuant to the MCL. Just change that verbiage from how it presently reads, which is to say discuss the potential sale of city real estate.
Okay, so we're moving on to item 1, approve the agenda with those amendments.
Yes. Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Then, do you want to do a roll call, or how do you want to do to go closed session? I think it's roll call.
Excuse me?
Just do a roll call vote to go into closed session.
Yeah, I'm going to read that.
Okay.
So item 5F was moved up. Adjourn to a closed session to discuss attorney-client privileged communication, to discuss attorney-client communications pursuant to MCL 15.268 subsection H.
So moved.
Support by Webster. Okay. Roll call, please.
Mayor Racy,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Porter,
Yes.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Webster,
Yes.
Councilman Dowd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Skiff,
Yes.
Councilman Wagner.
Yes.
We're close. Back to order. Do we have to vote? We don't have to. Do we have to close the closed session?
Yes. Attorney,
Oh, okay.
yes.
So can I get a motion to close the,
Motion to close closed session.
Support.
Support.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Want to go right into the swearing in?
Yes.
We're going to, I'm going to administer the oath of office to firefighter Tyler Fugate. So I can have you come forward, Tyler. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Tyler Fugate, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Wayne,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Wayne,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties of firefighter
and that I will faithfully perform the duties of firefighter
in and for the City of Wayne
in and for the City of Wayne
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Welcome, Tyler.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
Welcome aboard. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I think we're covered.
Just look at I'm just
Straight ahead.
near, so you can look right at it.
Straight ahead.
Thank you. Great. A smile? No smiles?
That's what I thought, I just wanted to make sure.
Talking.
That's the way to start off a meeting. Okay.
I believe we're on number 2, city council minutes. 2A is regular meeting of September 17th, 2019.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
No.
No? Okay. Motion carries.
Item number 3 is ordinances and amendments. 3A, second reading of adoption of ordinance 2019-08, amendments to Chapter 894 to provide for a service charge in lieu of taxes for Atwood Gardens.
Can I get a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Ms. Gillen.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council.
Good evening.
This is a second reading of a ordinance amendment. The request is from Wallet Community Homes. We worked out an agreement with them last year that we would collect 7% of their overall taxes that they were their gross rents that they would be collecting. They have changed the scope of the program or the development. They will be going before the Planning Commission next week to have their site plan changed and approved. They're increasing the number of units to 100. They will be affordable units. They will be age and income restricted at 55 years of age. It's going to be an independent living housing facility now as opposed to an assisted living housing facility, which is wonderful because it is something that is needed for the older adults in our community. We are looking at a net increase over, even though we're reducing the percentage of the shelter rents we're taking, we're going to actually go up $24,202 a year more we'll be collecting through the pilot because of the increase in the number of units. So what you have before you tonight is simply a change to the percentage that the city will be collected in the overall rents, shelter annual rents, which is 7%.
Great. Any questions from the council? Any questions from the audience? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 4 is boards and commissions. 4A, approval of the appointment of Shirley Smith of Winslow Street to the Commission on Aging until October 2022.
Move to approve. Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4B, approval of the appointment of Walter Bender, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, 34131 Michigan Avenue, to the Downtown Development Authority to fill an unexpired term until December of 2019.
Move to approve. Dowd.
Support.
Okay, any questions? Any questions from the audience? I just want to say, I'm excited about this appointment. I've got to just know him over the last few months or whatever since he's opened, and his background, he used to own Tim Hortons at the CompuWare. So he has a business background, and I think he'll be really good on the DDA and can really help our community. He's really excited about doing it, so very, very positive.
I missed the motion makers on that.
What, Dowd?
Dowd made
And then
and
me. Scott? Yes.
Okay,
Councilman Skiff
Thank you.
okay.
supported.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 5 is general items. 5A, approval of MDOT resolution designating Ed Queen, DPW Director, as Maintenance Superintendent on the section of State Trunk Line Highway as shown on the municipal route section map and budget sheets.
Move to approve.
Second.
Do we have any questions for Ed, or are we good? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 5B is approval of trade-in and upgrade of election equipment, AV high-speed scanner in the amount of $27,642.72 to be paid out of the election budget. This equipment upgrade was previously budgeted into the fiscal year 2019-2020 election budget.
Move to approve.
Support.
Any questions? I need you to come and state your name and come to the podium, please.
Jessica Owlet. Can you just give a little background on that one? It's short, concise, but just a little bit understanding more than this paragraph states.
Tina, do you want to go ahead?
This equipment is the equipment that's used to scan the absentee ballots on election night. In 2016, I think it was, the state, there was a grant for the city to have new election equipment. And with the set that they got, it was the smallest scanner, and that was of no charge to the city. So that's why that scanner was chose. Since then, with proposal 18.3, we're going to have an influx of absentee ballots with no reason absentee voting. And most municipalities are going to this more high-speed scanner. With the old equipment, I understand there were some issues with ballots getting jammed and other issues with that smaller scanner.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? No? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 5C is approval of setting a public hearing for October 15th, 2019 at 8 PM for the purpose of discussing the transfer of unused 2018 allocated demolition CBDG funds.
Move to approve.
Support. Dowd.
Ms. Goen, do you want to?
Okay. This is a unique situation in the sense that we did have $20,000 allocated in our demolition line item to be utilized on the building that was demolished on Michigan Avenue. Unfortunately, as you know, that it had gone through some litigation, and it's not going to work out that we would cap that building off this year. So I was able to get the county to agree to allow us to transfer this one-time hit of money into an account so we can utilize that money. I apologize that you didn't have more specific information with this packet, but at this point, we are proposing, I got the clearance at 3 o'clock this afternoon, that we can go out to bid to have cement work done behind the fire station and the building and engineering building, that is in part of the low to moderate income area. Unfortunately, the $20,000 is just a small piece of the cement work that needs to be done there, but we have to have this money, the project completed and the money vouchered by December 31st. And as you all know, the snow will be flying, so Mr. Byton has been kind enough to help me, and I want to say thank you publicly to him that he's going to put this out to bid tomorrow. So the public hearing will be for the transfer of the funds, so by the time all the approvals are done, we should be ready to go with the project. I can take any questions.
Any questions? Any questions? Nope. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you,
Opposed?
council.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 5D is approval of resolution establishing authorized signatories for Michigan Employees Retirement System, MERS, for contracts and service credit purchase approvals.
Move to approve.
Second. Wagner.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 5E, approval of the purchase of 28 lights and night sights for the Wayne Police Department handguns in the amount of $5,654.60 to be partially paid for from an acquired grant of $4,879, and the remainder to be paid from the Police Department materials and supplies budget.
Move to approve.
Support.
Who was the second? I'm sorry.
Support.
Thank you.
Any questions? Do you want to come up and explain it first? Thanks, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. So we received a grant for the $4,800 from Norfolk Southern Railroad earlier this year. It was a public safety grant. I spoke to different department personnel. Our biggest equipment need was with our handguns. There are night sights on our handguns, which allow us to use our guns in the dark. The sights, they glow in the dark essentially, and the glow in the dark material is simply worn off. The flashlights that we currently have in our guns are just worn out as well, and they need to be replaced. I think they're both at least 10 years old, so I just thought this would be good use of the funds. I did get 4 estimates, and this is just the lowest.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Pride?
Nancy Pride. I was just trying to figure out, we don't have 28 police officers. That's 28 guns and lights. And it looks like it's 2 sets of different lights. So I'm trying to figure out why we need 28. Unless they're going in double shooting.
No, I think you have it as backup, and you also have it as this is the goal that we're going towards, and then you have them available so everybody's standardized to having the same equipment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Moving to item 6, administration reports.
Through the chair. We have quite a few tonight. We'll try to move through them as quickly as possible. I'm going to have to call a few of the staff up to provide some updates. Lori, I'm going to have you come up on a few of the questions. I'll just go one by one with yours first. There was a question at the last meeting about what is the pollution at the former B&E building that's been mentioned.
Yeah, I don't know of any pollution, but it was mentioned that there could be some type of an environmental concern. It was not confirmed. One of the potential buyers indicated that they thought there could be asbestos. We have not gotten that confirmed. Naturally, when buildings are older, you have disturbed tile, there could be asbestos, but we don't have any definite confirmation of any type of environmental concern. Not to say it's not there, but it's not been confirmed or tested
Okay,
by the city.
thank you. And then Lori, Mike, I didn't know which one of you were going to answer this regarding the Holistic Health had green signage on their building as of the last meeting and why we're not having them follow the ordinance.
Actually, they already have. There was some litigation and a sale of that property. They were operating under our old ordinance, our old 838. They're under a current one now. The new owners have taken over. Their license was issued. And you may notice over the weekend, they did change their signage. There are still issues that their windows are covered, so Brandon and Mike are dealing with that. So you'll see that taken care of in the very near future.
Okay, and the last item you brought up that you wanted to give an update on was the new plantings on North and South Wayne Road.
Yes, so as many of you up there know, the DDA finally has the ability to start doing some projects through an increase in the personal property tax return that we got from the state and paying down on the Ford Motor Tax Tribunal judgment. The DDA is trying to make some improvements, and this year, they've already started. We have torn all of the weeds, for lack of a better word, that had some hostas or daylilies in them. We've cleared all the beds on Wayne Road from Michigan Avenue to Glenwood, and we did do from Annapolis down to the end of the strip where Cobb's used to be. Within the next 2 weeks, they'll be coming in, putting fresh soil, weed barrier, which the previous beds did not have weed barrier, and a new ornamental grass. It's called bunny grass, so it flowers, and new wood chips. So it'd be much easier for us to maintain, and it'll look nice throughout the entire summer, and we won't have to weed whack. So that's a significant investment the DDA is making. I believe it was close to $10,000 total.
And along with that, obviously, it was very expensive to do that. The DDA can only take this sections at a time as far as they did North and South Wayne Road this year, potentially Michigan Avenue next year.
That is correct, and
With
we're also looking at doing some tree trimming on Michigan Avenue and Wayne Road.
Correct. And then if there are businesses that have plantings like the movie theater or others, how will that be handled next year?
They're pretty much the only ones. If you might notice, you want to have a uniform landscape, but it's absolutely beautiful. They actually are the only business in the entire city, I shouldn't say that, the only ones on Michigan Avenue that really have put some effort into their landscaping and they maintain it. So my recommendation would be that we allow that to remain. It is kind of a unique situation, whereas if you look at the tree rings down the rest of Michigan Avenue, we're going to want that to look uniform.
Thank you. Thank you. There was, Mike, would you like to come up and address, please, the question about the illegal signs that the business in Inkster, the Flower Bowl, has been apparently littering the city with? And is ordinance aware, and are you addressing this issue?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we spoke with Flower Bowl just recently. They had hired a contractor to do advertising for them, and they found themselves in trouble, it sounded like, with more than just the city of Wayne. So they said if there are any signs in the area that we see that are related to them, please call them. They will come and get them immediately. We don't currently see any signs, but that doesn't mean there's one that we've missed. So if anybody sees a sign like that, please notify us and we'll get them to take care of it. Either we'll take care of it or we'll get them to take care of it straight away.
Doing a great job, Mike. Thank you. Ed, there was a question from a resident about the circumference and diameter of stumps and the relativity between easements between the curb. I know that you have some knowledge on this. If you'd like to address it, please.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. The question that I understood is that the actual diameter of one of the trees that I had mentioned, because I had a whole list of them the last time that I had spoke, was that that diameter was actually, I believe, 60 inches, 5 feet in diameter. And the actual part of that stump is actually 10 feet by 8 feet, which it does take up between the right-of-way, between the sidewalk and the curb. So it's actually 8 feet. Part of it's hanging over the sidewalk, and it's buckled the sidewalk as well. So the root systems do get large on these stumps. So the circumference, if you wanted to measure that, it's the distance all the way around that tree. But diameters, it was correct, all the information I gave you about all that.
Okay, Ed, if you could just stay there, I'm going to have the Deputy Chief of Fire join you. I understand Deputy Chief brought it up to me today that there's going to be hydrant flushing coming up, and that was going to be addressed at this meeting. I'm not
Okay, and so with that being said, right now, we're currently doing our winterization of hydrants throughout this community. So we have that on the public service announcement, I believe, and on the website, just explaining if you have brown rusty water. But in addition to that, as part of what our requirements are, we're going to be doing some hydrant flow testing, is it? Correct. Hydrant flow testing on various hydrants throughout the community that we're required to do as part of our insurance. ISO. Do you know what that stands for?
ISO rating. It's the ISO rating is the organization that determines that they give a report to the insurance companies, and that helps determine
coverage.
Insurance premiums.
So it's a requirement that we're working with the fire department, DPW will be, and we have to put on certain gauges and things on the hydrants, various ones that are already designated throughout the community. So that will also, in addition, stir up the water maybe in those areas. So we just wanted everybody to be aware of that and the testing that we'll be doing out there in the community.
Ed, can you please repeat again what they should do if they have brown water coming out of their faucets?
They should let it, run the cold water. Don't run your hot water, because then you'll be running that brown rusty water through your hot water tank. Always run the cold water, run it for several minutes, and it'll eventually clear up. It'll also stop, once we stop running the hydrants or doing the pressure testing of the water, because we're just stirring up the system is what we're doing when we're doing some of that flow testing. But all you have to do is just run your cold water for several minutes, and it will clear up, especially after we're done.
Deputy Chief, do you have anything to add?
I do not.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. I'm going to have Chief Strong come up. He'd like to give an update. There were a number of missing persons that were reported last week, and Chief wanted to give an update on where those are at.
Many of you responded to our Facebook post and news coverage about the missing disabled young woman who was missing. Thankfully, she was found within a couple hours, so thanks to the public. Actually, a public's tip helped us point in the right direction. But if I may, I also wanted to address the school threats that
Yes.
different communities have been facing over the past few weeks. I'm sure everyone's seen things in the news. Unfortunately, we've had a few in Westland as well. So I just encourage everyone listening or here tonight, if you have young people in your life, speak to them about these school threats. They're not a joke. They use a tremendous amount of law enforcement resources. Everything comes to a full stop. We have to take them very seriously. So please talk to the young people in your life that if they make a school threat, even if they have no means to carry it out, the state law specifically states that even if you don't have a gun or a bomb or whatever it was you said you did, it's still a 20-year felony. And that felony cannot be expunged. So it's going to follow you around the rest of your life. I don't care if you're 16 years old. If you post on Snapchat or whatever, I'm going to do this or that, we're going to find you and you're going to get arrested, and it's going to follow you around the rest of your life. I know that sounds really harsh, but it's a very serious thing. We take it seriously, so please talk to the young people in your life. Don't say you did. Don't say that you saw someone post it. Just don't talk about it at all. If you do see something, tell an adult, but it's just no joke. I can't emphasize it enough. Thank you.
Chief, thank you. As always, the police department did a great job on everything, and thanks for the public's help. There was a question at the close of the study session about the total amount for the buildings and engineering building for upgrades. I cannot answer that question. I did not have enough time between meetings to do that research, but I know that we have to get back in some way. So I will address that question at the next meeting. I see that I have Mr. Mills here tonight for the sesquicentennial minute. I want to say moment because sometimes it has to
okay.
go over a minute, right?
Yeah, it usually does. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Tonight I'm going to be talking about the history of our 4 cemeteries in Wayne. The old Wayne Burial Ground is on the north side of Michigan Avenue West, 100 feet east of Elizabeth Street, described as the southeast quarter of the southeast quarter, section 29 of southwest quarter, section 28, Township 2, range 9 east, and measures 1.5 acres. The first burial in the eastern half of the cemetery was Sally Derby in 1834. Sally was the first wife of Ezra Derby and was buried on a family land which was later donated to the village for use as a community cemetery. The western half of the cemetery was dedicated by the Clark family when they buried James Clark there in 1846. The last burial took place in 1916 when John Frank was laid to rest with his parents and brother. This cemetery is now inactive, and it was closed by the vote of the village council on July 9th, 1918. Second cemetery that I'm going to talk about is St. Mary's Catholic Cemetery, which is located on Michigan Avenue West at Howe Road. St. Mary's Catholic Cemetery is owned by the parish. Jeremiah O'Connor was one of the founding Irish families of St. Mary's Catholic Church. He also donated the property to the church for use as a cemetery. The official dedication was held on Tuesday, November 2nd, 1882 at 9 in the morning with a procession that started at the church and ended at the cemetery grounds. The Wayne Westland VFW Post 3233 and its auxiliary maintains a memorial to servicemen and women in the cemetery. This memorial was dedicated on Veterans Day, November 11th, 1989. Third cemetery is Westland Cemetery and Mausoleum, which was formerly called the Clairview Cemetery. Once part of the Merriman Farm, located on Michigan Avenue West and Merriman Road, the location is the east half of the southeast quarter of Section 27, Township 2, Range 9 East. This cemetery began as a private family plot with a few headstones dating to the 1880s. The earliest monument found is for a Merriman neighbor's child named George E. Steckel, who died September 6, 1881. The cemetery was originally 7 acres and had a number of fruit trees. The grantor was James L. Shaw. When first opened as a public cemetery in 1916, it was named the Clairview Cemetery. It is currently a corporation-owned for-profit cemetery and mausoleum operated by the Westland Cemetery Corporation. And lastly, I would like to speak about Glenwood Cemetery. It is located in the east half of east half of the southeast quarter, Section 28, Township 25, Range 9 East. It was organized in 1871 by Samuel W. Walker and Stephen Turney Curtis and was dedicated on July 2nd, 1872. Their family plots were the first to be laid out, and they're rather unique in that they have a center headstone and the interments are arranged in a circle around those headstones. By 1876, they had opened the cemetery to the public, and many families bought lots. Some of them moved their loved ones' remains from the Michigan Avenue Cemetery next to the State Wayne Theater. Following Walker and Curtis's deaths, the cemetery was opened as a private corporation by Hosey, Adams, and Jameson. Another unique feature of Glenwood Cemetery are the 3 private mausoleums of the King, McGee, and Stellwagen Collins families. The cemetery was taken over by the Village of Wayne in 1949. The City of Wayne Department of Public Works continues to operate and maintain this historic burial ground. And I'm going to make one more quick comment so I don't have to come back up again. This Sunday from 1 to 3, we have our 6th annual cemetery walk. It's free and open to the public, and we do serve cider and donuts at the end of the walk. We are back at Glenwood for the second time. Again, 1 to 3 at Glenwood Cemetery. We'll have our free cemetery walk. Please join us.
Thanks, John. I'm glad you did that. I was going to say, John, hold on. So you did good. And Jody's here tonight, our library director. Jody, I'm sure you have a few announcements this evening.
Hey, thank you. I just wanted to let everyone know that the library is hosting a pumpkin decorating contest. We have divisions for children, teens, and adults, so everyone's welcome to participate. You can drop off your small decorated pumpkin No giant pumpkins, no carved pumpkins, please, because we're going to be keeping these inside. So small pie pumpkin size, about 10 inches across, now through the 12th, and then they'll be on display and open for voting the second half of the month.
Thanks, Jody. And as always, I like to say at the meetings, I want to thank all the city workers for their hard work day in and day out. You have a small crew, you have a small staff, but you guys put in a lot of time, and you're doing a great job for your community, so thank you all. That'll conclude my comments this evening, Mayor and Council.
Thank you.
Public comments for matters not on the agenda. Pursuant to the Michigan Open Meetings Act and the enacted procedures and rules of City Council, now is the time for public comment. Any questions will not be answered this evening, but the appropriate person will make their best effort to respond by the next council meeting or as soon as possible, provided you state or leave your contact information with the city clerk. Approach the podium and state your name. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
The lady behind. Yeah.
Gentlemen, I'm Jessica Ouellette again. Several of us are concerned because we're members of Hype Recreation Center, and there is a problem with the boiler is not working on the side of the pool, which means that the pool is not going to be functional. And for our swimmers, that means there's no place for them to practice. So that's a major concern for us, and we would like, I don't know if it's a motion for city council to come up with a solution for that as the city of Wayne actually owns that building. But we cannot have the pool closed down, and without a boiler and without heat, that is what's going to happen.
Okay.
So.
Thank you. Mr. Blackwell.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. First of all, I would just like to say, as a volunteer of Veterans Haven, we sincerely appreciate the moments of silence for Mr. Berna. Secondly, some of the council members I've messaged, and I want to say last month, I want to say thank you for designating October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. She opted for a mastectomy. Unfortunately, she was only a survivor for about 4 weeks. So it's very important that women and men get checked, follow up with their physicians. I see that you and Council Mayor Pro Tem Porter, the pink ties on, appreciate it. And again, thank you for designating October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And it was mentioned about holistic, about the signage. And I was just curious, a question just popped in my mind. Since Wayne Bowl is not a bowling alley anymore, they still have the signage up there that says billiards. And I don't know, through the chair to Mayor Pro Tem, does it say lounge or liquor on there still? I don't know. I was just wondering if that signage has to come down, because if they're going to be a grow and sell facility, I don't know the terminology, but I was just wondering if that signage has to come down, because if you're going to enforce it for one, enforce it for all.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Anybody else? Ma'am.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vicki McTall, and I'm a worker over at the Hype Community Rec Center. And these here little people here are part of a swim team. If y'all can just put your hand up for a second, that's part of a swim team over there. And this swim team has been existing. This is their 4th year, and they're the Hype Torpedo Swim Club. I understand that, yes, there's this problem with the boiler. Yes, that's what we came here for. The boiler is outdated and it's gone. It's dead, both of them. And so what is needed is the boilers to be replaced. And from my understanding, the owner has fixed and worked on it as much as possible, and it has not been fixable. So what has happened Now, we need to have a boiler put in so that we can have heat for that side of the building, that whole side of the building. And so having a new boiler put in, I understand that will go on the city and not on the person that's leasing the facility, to my understanding. So if there's something can happen where you all can bring that up in the next meeting, or if something can be decided on it, because we really don't have anywhere to take the kids for practice. They have a swim meet on October 12th at Grosse Point, and then they have one in Milan. And these kids are really good swimmers, and they're outstanding. I've been coaching for like 40 years or so, and we have some outstanding swimmers coming out of Wayne Westland community. So, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rockwell?
Kathy Rockwell. I've been sitting with these girls throughout the evening, and they've told me they not only have competition here within Michigan, but they've traveled out of state, and they've got lots of ribbons and medals and things, so I hope we can help them somehow. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Ms. Pride?
On regards to the gardens, you have a positive paper that you put out, so it would have been nice that the citizens of Wayne would have known that that's exactly what was going on and not presume that they were being demolition. The other thing is that I think as taxpayers, I think we paid to have some of those plantings done in the original program. And if you're going to be pulling them out of the ground, at least give the citizens of Wayne an opportunity to take some of those and maybe put them in their front yards or backyards to improve their properties, instead of throwing them in the garbage. The other question that I have and am concerned about is the City of Wayne's Memorial Project. I just want to let you know that, and I said this to the ladies at the clerk's office, this is on a floodplain that you're putting it. If that river, if all the rivers in our country start to rise, that will be underwater. The next level of the water going up, the river taking its banks, would be at Michigan Avenue. So we might not see it in our lifetime, but it is on a floodplain, and you need to consider that. Thank you.
You guys are doing a joint?
We both sat down a little too quickly. We wanted to make everyone aware of an event that's going to be held at the library that's being jointly sponsored by the Historical Society and the Friends of the Library. It is a presentation on Thursday, October 10th, on Margaret Mitchell and Gone with the Wind, about the history of both the book and the movie. There'll be memorabilia on display starting at 6:30, and the talk will start at 7. And again, that's on Thursday, the 10th.
And it's the 80th anniversary of Gone with the Wind coming out in 1939, so.
Cool. Mr. Amos, you can only come up one time. Yeah.
Evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is Vern Amos. Question about the hype. With our contract being elapsed with Colliers, how does anybody that might be in the business know that it's up for sale? I understand we're not going to put a for sale sign up and scare off the general public as far as membership. So if I was a potential person of that interest of an athletic area, how would I know that it's up for sale? That's all. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, let's move the agenda.
Item number 7 is items for next agenda.
Oh, excuse me. I wanted to pass this along. If we could put this on, on the agenda, I don't know if it's on the agenda, would be precisely on the agenda, but I wanted to do a proclamation for November for pancreatic cancer, and specifically World Pancreatic Cancer Day, which I believe is November 21st. And I want to pass this down there to you. Here we go. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, let's move the agenda.
Comments from members of City Council.
Okay. Councilwoman Skiff.
Just one thing tonight, Mayor. There's a box out in the vestibule. We're doing Coats for Veterans Coat Drive. It started yesterday and it goes until October 21st. We're asking that if anybody has any men's and women's gently used coats, any size, that they want to donate, if they could just drop it off here at City Hall. The donations will benefit veterans in our area and go to Veterans Haven in Wayne and House by the Side of the Road in Ann Arbor. That's all. Thank you.
Councilman Webster.
Just one thing tonight. I just want to remind everyone that the 22nd annual Firefighters Pancake Breakfast is this Saturday, October 5th from 9 to noon. Adults are $5, children 10 and under are $3, and they are accepting donations of gently used wheelchairs. That's it.
Okay. Councilman Miller.
Thank you, Mayor Reese. First of all, I want to extend my condolences to Mrs. Berna, Judy, they were childhood sweethearts. They got met each other at 16, 17 years old. I know her heart is broken at this time, and I wish her well. Wish her lots of prayers to pull through her broken heart at this time. But I also want to point out is what this couple has done in this community for veterans. Veterans helping veterans, they started 27 years ago in their apartment, and they established it here in Wayne. And for, well, close to 3 decades, they've been helping veterans help veterans. So I would ask that if you would be considerate enough to provide them a donation or give them a call. It's 734-729-0527. Also, I want to point out is Senior Alliance is October is Medicare and Medicaid month for opening enrollment. And we happen to have Senior Alliance here in our community. And they have other locations, but we have a beautiful location here located off of Vinoy Road, right near Belmont Hospital. So just wanted to let everyone know about the enrollment program they have for Medicare and Medicaid. And if you need more information regarding that, you can, the meetings are October 30th and 31st between 9:30 and 4. And if you need any information regarding it, there's no appointments required. It's 1-800-803-7174. Lastly, I want to also invite everybody to come out to the Main Street Toast to Wayne event. This is really a significant fundraising event for Main Street. They've done a lot in our downtown, and this is to help them continue that great work that they've been doing. Well, this year it's going to be this Thursday between 7 and 10 at St. Mary's here in downtown Wayne. There will be a silent auction, featured appetizers from some of Wayne's best dining facilities in our community with a complimentary bar. So I would invite you to go online to Wayne Main Street, and hope to see you there. Thank you.
Councilman Dowd.
He wasn't supposed to say that.
You want me to give you a different
one? You got a lot of lists there. I just had specific instruction from home, that's all. Thank you, Mayor. I just want to first start by saying welcome aboard firefighter Tyler Fugate. Fugate? Okay, I'm close. Tyler, Fireman Tyler. There you go. There you go, because I'll mess it up. I also want to say welcome and to the Hype Torpedoes. Hopefully you can go to school and maybe tell your teacher that you participated in a municipal government meeting and get some credit. Breast cancer awareness, this hits home pretty hard for me because a coworker and good friend of mine lost his mother today to a battle of breast cancer. So I'm really personally appreciative of the council making a resolution on this particular matter, as it comes pretty close to me in my heart, and my heart goes out to his family. And she was a grandmother, a teacher, and a wonderful, I'm sure, wife and mother. So thank you for supporting this in a matter of a resolution. Lastly, Toast Wayne, Councilman Miller pointed out a lot of the high features. Tickets are still available. You can get tickets via phone, 734-629-6822. The event is October 3rd, Thursday, 7 p.m. A lot of, bring your checkbook because there's a lot of items for silent auction, including, hopefully it's on social media by now. It's pretty astounding. I think that this is something you don't even have. There is a signed season 9 Blue Bloods
Script.
last episode of season 9 signed by the entire cast, including Tom Selleck and Mr. Jabara, who was recently in an event, and really, certainly, I know Mayor strong-armed him for that particular thing. So I would say that's the largest item that certainly is going to take the heaviest weight. A lot of amazing people on that show, I'm sure. Chief, you've seen Blue Bloods before. It's about the police station and policing. So with that, I'll close, and I'm done.
Councilman Wagner.
Thank you. Not much left to say. Hope to see everyone at the Toast Wayne on Thursday, firefighters breakfast on Saturday, and the Sunday cemetery walk. Thank you.
That was fast. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be short and sweet, too. Well, at least short. We had a very good study session tonight, for those of you who didn't make it. We had a lot of ideas, a lot of questions were asked, a lot of answers. We have a lot more answers to get, but I was really appreciative of the staff and for helping us come to some of the conclusions by giving us some answers and doing some of the research for us. So we're working hard for you, honestly. That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I got just a few things. Champions had a phenomenal red carpet event last week. If you missed it, the next time they do one, I strongly encourage you to try to participate. It was great. It was the story of Willie O'Ree, and it was a documentary, really good documentary. He was the first black person to play in the NHL, and they went through his story in a documentary form. That was the third time that it was shown in the United States. So it's going to be in the Windsor Film Festival in November, and they're working on a contract with a few different distribution places, so it's going to be out where people can purchase it, and they want to get into schools and stuff, but great movie, yet great cause by helping the Champions of Wayne, and just phenomenal event. I'd like to see more of that type of thing. I know that they have a vision that they'd like to at some point maybe even have a film festival here in town. I think that would be great, seeing those types of things that bring people from outside also into our community and bring new people to Wayne. Over the weekend, I had the pleasure of speaking at the Gregg Jabara street sign unveiling in Westland. He was a Wayne Memorial graduate, and that was a great opportunity. we were kind of making deals that we're going to try to get Tom Selleck to be the next mayor of Wayne, and Jabara would take over Westland. So I think that would be good for both communities, and I was all for it at the time. So if you see Tom Selleck up here soon, you know where it came from. But on a serious note, we had our business leadership banquet for the Conference of Western Wayne yesterday. Great networking event. It just keeps getting bigger. And it was at the Henry Ford Museum. I would say, 600 plus or 600 people?
About 60.
Okay, almost 500 people, but it was phenomenal. But it's been growing every year and making a lot of good connections with that. So very, very cool thing. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.